Good afternoon and welcome everyone. My name is Brad Anderson. I'm the State Director for AARP Iowa. And we're here today to discuss the need for more affordable housing in Iowa, and specifically the two bills in the legislature that will address this need. So it's no secret that we face serious headwinds when it comes to affordable housing across the state, and that's in both urban and rural communities. So in my 5 years at AARP alone, the median price of housing has gone up 35%. And so today, the median price for a house in Iowa sits at $209,000, and that is simply out of reach for many Iowans, especially those on a fixed income. However, it's not just older Iowans who are affected by the high cost of housing across the state. It's also employers too. So the Iowa Finance Authority recently put out this study, and they said that the state needs to add 42,000 housing units by 2030 to meet our state's growing workforce needs. So this is really affecting everybody. It's affecting younger Iowans just entering the workforce, older Iowans on a fixed income, and everyone in between. And so that's why AARP is supporting two specific pieces of legislation that will help address this legislative session. First is House File 2420, and this is a bill to increase the existing workforce housing tax credit. This is a very popular program, and we want to see that program increased. Second is House File 2388, and this is a bill to ensure local governments allow affordable housing materials to be used for the construction of homes. Because if local governments are requiring really expensive materials, that of course impacts the price of housing. And so we know that this isn't going to solve all the problems when it comes to affordable housing, but we believe at AARP this is a step in the right direction, and the bills have bipartisan support, so we would like to see them passed. Late last fall, we got together with several communities to discuss age-friendly livability needs in their communities. And in the 8 meetings we had, affordable housing was far and away the #1 issue facing these communities. And so we've got 2 community leaders with us here today to discuss that conversation and what's needed in their towns. So first, I'd like to turn it over to Jenna Ramsey from Stanton. Jenna is the Community Development Director and the age-friendly lead in Stanton. So Jenna, can you explain the housing situation in Stanton and some of the challenges you all are facing when it comes to affordable housing?
Yes, we have a lot of exciting things going on in Stanton right now. We have a downtown facade renovation completed, a new childcare. Our school is actually growing. The calls we are getting weekly, the challenge we are finding is the cost of housing and people needing housing in our community and Southwest Iowa. The challenges that we hear are one is the cost of infrastructure. If there is property in the area, the cost to get that developed, and 2, the cost of housing to bring developers and have developers come to our community. So again, we have a lot of great things going on, and Stanton has always been a small but mighty community that has moved forward with many great things, including housing happening. But definitely in the last 5 years or so, housing has really been stalled because of the cost of housing. And any opportunities or incentives for those developers or to help housing in our community would be wonderful. We were honored to be selected as one of the Iowa Thriving communities last August through IEDA and IFA. And with that opportunity, we have talked to developers since then, and every developer has talked about the workforce housing tax credits and the potential incentive for the points on that workforce housing tax application. So we know that developers are interested and incentivized by workforce housing tax credits.
Yes, thank you, Jenna. And one more question, Jenna, or one more, I guess, comment from you, if I could get, which would be a little background on Stanton. Can you give a little background on just the population there and some of the amenities that Stanton has to offer?
Yes, Stanton is a small but mighty community in Southwest Iowa, Montgomery County, with a population of about 700 people. We have some great amenities, including the Stanton Viking Center with a gymnasium, fitness center, public library, preschool, and meeting room. We have done additional wonderful amenities over the last few years, including sand volleyball courts, a 2-year through 5-year-old playground, outdoor basketball court, as well as expanded our trail system, expand our daycare, and many other great projects. But, amenities are such an important part of livability.
They are. Thank you. And Stanton is a small but mighty town. That's a great way to put it. And it's a terrific community. But clearly they need some affordable housing, and they've got some interest from developers, but they need to make sure that they have the tax credits available to help get those homes developed. So next, I'd like to turn it over to Jim Davis, who is our age-friendly lead in Charles City and all-around Charles City guru when it comes to housing. And so, Jim, I know you're very familiar with the housing industry in Charles City. Can you explain the current situation when it comes to affordability in Charles City?
I'll come right to the point. We cannot build a house in Charles City and sell it for what we have in it. That's a huge obstacle for us. We haven't built any subdivisions in the 1980s. That was during the farm crisis. And so we started looking around for incentives. And the city of Charles City has been very helpful. They've done tax abatement, zoning things, all kinds of measures that come before a public body, and they've just been great. We've also utilized the Iowa Finance Authority in projects to help get the street, sewer, and water into a development site that can be used then. So we know that incentives are important, because here's the bottom line in Charles City. It's $250 a square foot for new construction. And you can do the math. That doesn't make for a very big on 1,000 square foot house. So, which is a small house. So those are the obstacles that we're facing.
And that's a great point that you made. And as far as the number of affordable homes that are currently for sale in Charles City, do you have any sense of, are there a lot? Are there not very many? Because obviously that would affect economic development throughout the town. Can you speak to that?
There aren't enough available. That's the bottom line. We have a shortage all around. We've had the good fortune to, as you're familiar with, have the Union House go online and put 33 new apartments downtown, right in the heart of town. And we're getting 39 developments in the old middle school building. And so we have some things like that going on. But you know what? The tax credits, for instance, the developer at the middle school is using historic tax credits. And on the other project, we got $3 million in federal aid because in 2008, that property was flood impacted. So those are the kind of things that fuel deals now.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that background. And Charles City, of course, is one of my favorite communities in Iowa, and I love to visit there. So if you ever get a chance to go whitewater rafting in Charles City, I would definitely recommend doing it. But I do want to thank both Jenna and Jim for participating in our panel today and just raising this important issue. Now let's get HF2420 and HF2388 to the finish line. So any help that we could get to make that happen would be well received. Appreciate everyone's participation today. Thank you all and have a great day.